All right, so one of the neatest, or at least I think it's one of the neatest technologies that's really come to life in the last 10 years is this Federation. And if we have any Star Trekians that are on the horn, then you may think the same thing I do when you read it. You don't want my picture. Is that okay? You may recognize the chevron here from the Federation of Planets, and it's a simple kind of concept here. So if you just think about Star Trek, and you know how one ship here needs to talk to another ship. Well, how are the comms going between that? Well, both of these belong to, what do we say? The Federation of Planets, right? And at least in the Star Trek world, for fans of Star Trek, that means something. It means something, right? Everybody belongs to this Federation of Planets, so there's galaxy rules, and whether you're an old school fan and like the old school ones, or you're a new school fan like the new school ones, whatever. Everybody belongs to this Federation of Planets. So they all are within what we typically will refer to as a realm of trust. And so, if Enterprise A and Enterprise B, and Starship Enterprise, conveniently, A and B here, need to talk to each other, at some point before these guys deploy from the mothership out to boldly go where no man has gone before, they go out and they exchange keys. And there immediately becomes a fiduciary. Who's my spelling? Here. Fiduciary. Anybody? Somebody look it up. I think that it is F-U-D-U-C-I. Fiduciary, which essentially means that we're trusting each other. Gosh. And so this fiduciary, which I should have, relationship between the two means that these guys here, see how that's kind of a border, right? But you can also kind of look at this picture right here. Like you look at the border right here that I just drew. And this one actually looks like B over here can trust A. But A has a little bit more trust over on B's enterprise, which is kind of interesting. So A can actually go all the way down into B's network over here. But B trying to go over to A, it's just for the identity. And what does this mean? This means that both of these companies have an Active Directory server. And at some point, there was some sort of key exchange that went on between them. And so now, instead of us having to maybe create a new user account and log in for Enterprise B over in Enterprise A Active Directory, now these two have shared keys with each other. And since they've shared the keys with each other, now they belong to this part, or what we call a realm of trust. Right? And being able to do that allows us a bunch of different things. We can now include them in any, usually you'll see this in a Microsoft environment, but it's a business to business where we can include people that are not within our organization in new meetings. Like we can actually see them come up in the GAL, the Global Address List. And one perfect example of this is in the DoD, which you may or may not be interested in. If you are, then let's just say we do Army, Navy, Air Force. So, if let's say somebody from the Coast Guard, and just go with the way I have this drawn here in a hierarchical manner. Somebody from the Coast Guard wants to send an email to the Army. Well, up at the DoD level, they have issued keys to each one of these entities, right? And so these keys say that all of these people are in the realm of trust. So if you go out to the GAL, the Global Address List, if you're over here in the Coast Guard, you go out to the GAL, the Global Address List, in Active Directory, you would be able to see anybody in the Army, anybody in the Navy, anybody in the Air Force, anybody in the Marines. Now, in reality, you're going to probably only see people that you're allowed to see, and that's it. But in a simple explanation of how federations work, usually that's what we see.